So the themes that could possibly come up for the SEA 1900s, Study of Poetry 1900s to present, Seamus Heaney and Robert Frost under the Railway Children would be childhood experiences. Contextual information that you need to know about this poem. Heaney's first house in Mossbawn as a child was beside the railway along which ran rain, and in his interview he stated, along the telegraph wires there used to run raindrops, and we used to think the telegrams were sent in the raindrops. If you look at the title, it reinforces the theme of childhood experiences. It also echoes E. Nesbit's study of children and childhood in her 1906 book of the same name. When you actually read through the poem and look back at the title, you can see that it is a touching poem that portrays a world reduced to the dimensions of a child's imagination. If you look then at the very first line, you've got the alliterative when we, okay? And the collective pronoun used here really generates an uplifting tone. You can see that it's exciting to explore and engage with this area near his childhood home. And it's part of a group of children, maybe siblings, exploring their neighbourhood. You've got more alliteration. We were eye level with the white. Okay. White cups as well is childlike diction for the porcelain insulators between copper wires and wooden poles, and you can see that there's childlike images used the whole way throughout this poem, used to convey the childlike perspective of wonder, awe and excitement. Then you've got the kind of sibilant sound, poles and sizzling wires. Poles, sizzling wires, and you've got the onomatopoeia there, which reinforces the palpable excitement or buzz felt by the children. Next stanza, you've got like lovely. You have again really simple descriptions, lovely, and then you've got the alliterative LL sounds, pleasant sounds evoking the child's fascination with the cables. There's also a simile which suggests the elegance of the wires and childlike appreciation for the beauty of their design. You've got the repetition of miles and the juxtaposition of east and west, which reinforces how this child's view is really expansive, okay? The nature of the wire is one that is expansive. It feels like it stretches on for miles and miles. Beyond us further reinforces that. There's imagery of communication. Because they're young children, they lack the development or knowledge of communicating about the adult world that is beyond them, both figuratively and literally. Beyond us is in stretching out visually, and then also beyond the realms of comprehension. Then you've got under their burden, and you've got lots of assonance throughout this line, reflecting the durability of the wire. It's really sturdy. Next stanza, we were small and thought we knew nothing. You've got, again, alliteration, and you've got the use of this collective pronoun. There's a sense in this line of the children's feeling of insignificance. There's alliterative W sound, reinforcing the nostalgic tone of the recollections. Nothing worth knowing. We thought words travelled the wires, and you've got more alliteration throughout here. The repetition of we thought really reinforces the idea that they make up for their uncertainty about the adult world with this vivid childlike imagination. Words travelling the wires. It's beautiful. Shiny pouches is obviously a metaphor. They're not really shiny pouches. It suggests that these children are really young, maybe even below school age, but the metaphors and imagery shows that they're blessed with a really fertile imagination despite their young age. Then you've got seeded full with light. Young Heaney's deductions of the material world are coloured by his experiences of nature, hence the idea of water and seeds and light and growth throughout this poem. The poem also culminates with this belief that with God's grace he will enter heaven. Then we've also got of the sky, the gleam of the lines, and ourselves so infinitesimally scaled, and this reflection of the image in translucent water droplet, the idea that everything in that rule of three there. The sky, the gleam of the lines, and ourselves is all captured within this little tiny droplet. Infinitesimally scaled, you've got exceedingly small, again a metaphor. You can see that he views the sky, the rail, the tracks and wires, all as being quite small in comparison to the wider world beyond this small childish one that he's currently inhabiting. Very final line that stands on its own, we could stream through the eye of a needle, is quite biblical. There's lots of biblical imagery here. There's a religious reference. It has associations with the entrance to heaven. In the Bible, the camel could only enter the narrow entrance to the city of Jerusalem if it squeezed through on its knees, depicting how humbly one should approach God and how unburdened too. The open vowel sounds in eye, needle, the kind of assonant sounds there, expresses freedom, okay, and there's frequent use of enjambment throughout. The structure, there's 4 triplets and then a single line reflecting the simplicity of childhood. There's not really a rhyme scheme. So you've got free verse, and the tone is nostalgic, wistful, there's childhood innocence, and there's awe and adventure.